This is MFG Out Loud. Courageous conversations about sales and marketing for today's manufacturers. With your hosts, Ray Zaganto and Allison DeFore.
All right. Hey, everybody. Ray Zaganto here, welcoming you all to MFG Out Loud. Trailblazers, we are thrilled to have you with us today because, man, have we got a guest for you. And let me go through the particulars. Today, we are so fortunate to be joined by Mr. Adam Bowe, who's the head of community and marketplace engagement at Xometry. You've heard a lot about them. You probably think you know something about them. Today, you're going to learn for sure what they're all about. Here's what you need to know about Adam. He's obsessed with everything manufacturing and community. He's the host of Amplify with Adam, which is a place where Xometry shines the spotlight on their members and customers and clients and all those good things. And there are some awesome stories out there. I've listened to more than a couple of them. The majority of his time is spent building the manufacturing community at Xometry, one that's centered around the members. They amplify the voice of the community members, deliver industry's best educational content, and host the most engaging, if he does say so himself, events all over the place. So, Adam, welcome to MFG Out Loud.
Yeah, man. So excited to be here, Ray. I might have to hire you to come around and just do that intro for me for every meeting because that was awesome, man.
Be your hype man for hire. But
yeah, exactly. No, I'm super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, this is awesome. And it's like, Xometry has been kind of sneaking up into manufacturing. It's one of those overnight successes that's actually been around for a while.
Yeah, I was about to say, might feel overnight to you, but there's been a lot of hard work on the backside.
Exactly, and that's what I want to talk about. It seems, and to a lot of folks, Xometry has really created a whole new revenue stream for manufacturers. And you've also integrated some tech that makes it a heck of a lot easier for buyers to connect with those manufacturers. Mm-hmm. What's the elevator pitch? Help our listeners understand what Xometry is all about.
Absolutely. So, I think you hit on it, right? We wanted to create a new revenue stream for manufacturers because if you look at it, when we were talking to a lot of people, and even the most robust economy, American manufacturers had time on their machines, right? They had capacity that they weren't filling. So that's where Xometry came in. So if you think about it, we're a platform similar to like Airbnb, Lyft, Uber, in the sense that a customer comes and gets a quote from Xometry. We put that part on our job board, and our approved suppliers on the job board take that work from Xometry. They don't have to do any of the quoting, et cetera. They don't have to, no project management with the customer. They simply do what they do best, which is make that part, send that to the customer, and Xometry handles the rest for them. And that is the elevator pitch, but there's a lot of details in there because we've launched over like the last year financial products. We've launched areas where the manufacturer and the customer can quote directly together on the Xometry platform. So I think we're going to get into those in a little bit. But we view Xometry as a super easy way to take the work that you need to fill your capacity, find the work that's best for you, and make sure that you've got your shop as busy as you can want it.
Without getting too far into the weeds, because I know a lot of shops where they'll get bogged down, or where there's a lot of emphasis these days. Everybody talks about, hey, make the customer journey as smooth as you possibly can. And quoting has historically been one of those, that's where it stops. Everybody's got the tab on their website that says, send us your file for a quote right now. And then it either
right now is 3 days later.
Yeah. How does that, what's the special sauce? How and why is that different with Xometry, where somebody can basically get that price on demand?
Yeah, so it's our instant quoting algorithm. So this thing, we launched it at the start of Xometry, and people much smarter than I designed it. But this, as with all algorithms, right, it gets smarter over time. So it's looking at the material, the types of parts that you're after, actually the 3D drawing itself, how complex it is, and it's analyzing, the types of manufacturers that we have on the job board right there, their capabilities, and spitting out that quote instantly to the customer. Now on the back end, right, we don't always get the prices right. So we get them within range, but we also respect that the manufacturer can give us some pricing feedback, right? So they have the ability to give us a little bit of feedback on that price, and we would repost that job if we say, hey, you know what, you caught this one. But when we catch that one, the algorithm gets smarter, right? And we do that better next time. So over the course of almost 10 years of Xometry, that algorithm has gotten smarter and smarter to be able to give customers instant pricing, and the shops themselves really competitive prices for the jobs they want to take.
So they really get almost some benchmarking feedback along the way. It's like,
Absolutely.
hey, here's what the aggregate community in this, whether it's CNC
Honestly,
or whatever. Yeah.
One of the interesting things that we see is that sometimes the suppliers on our platform, the manufacturers on the platform, they'll use the instant quoting engine to get a price from Xometry for a customer job that you see what I'm saying? So they'll get an RFQ. They'll submit that RFQ to the instant quoting engine, and then they'll be like, that price sounds pretty good. Go back to the customer and be like, hey, I can do it for this price,
This is fair.
So so both sides kind of work with it. And we see what jobs get accepted really quickly. We understand that those are like high dollar jobs or high value jobs next time. And, all of that data, all the ones that sit there for a long time, all that data makes that algorithm smarter for the instant quote.
And I know, and I'm a nerd about this stuff. So I was digging deep into the website and the history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And algorithms, they gain integrity based on the volume of things that go through them. They learn, the bigger the data set, the more you can rely on them. And I don't know what the time frame is, but there's something like 8 million quotes have gone through the algorithm so that it can learn and improve.
Absolutely.
And that sounds huge. And I know at 80 million, it'll be even better. But that's a hell of a start.
Well, and the thing is that 8 million just continues to grow, right? Because if you look at year one, we had, I'm making up this number right now, but it's 50 quotes go through right in year one. And then, this year we'll get close to matching that 8 million total. And so that will quickly kind of expand. And again, it just gets smarter with times goes on, and that's better for the manufacturer. So
that's awesome. So with things changing as fast as they are for Xometry, are there any misconceptions or things that people think they know about Xometry but really don't? Is there anything
absolutely.
You need to clear up?
Yeah, so I think the two misconceptions are that we're just a job board, right? There's other job boards out there, and so they view us as just a job board.
Okay.
And then the other side is, and we've recently probably dispelled this myth with some of the new products that we've launched, is that we're trying to squeeze every dollar from the manufacturer, and so they see lower prices on there, right? And I think that can be true, right? We have aggressive pricing on some of our jobs. We also have aggressive lead times, but it depends on what job you're taking, how complex it is, right? So like the ITAR work, if you talk to some of our partners that are doing like ITAR certified work, that is a high dollar value job that we pay top dollar for, right? The other side of it is that we're not just a job board. We've launched financial tools to help with cash flow. That's one of the biggest issues that a small shop faces. We've also launched the seller marketplace, the shop profile feature. And what I'll kind of describe that for a second, but
Great.
I talked about Uber and Lyft, right?
Yeah.
When you ride with Uber, you pay Uber on the platform. You can't call that driver off your phone, right? You don't engage with the driver until you're in the car with them.
Right.
Whereas more of like an Etsy platform, right? So that's, if you think shop profiles, think Etsy, where you go to a storefront and you actually purchase products or engage directly with that producer on Etsy and the manufacturer in our instances. So what we're allowing is that the job board is a fantastic tool, right?
Sure.
We know that a lot of people have built their shops using that revenue. But some folks also want to engage with customers on either more complex jobs or, bigger production runs, or they just like running, their business by engaging with the customers and not getting this instant quote. And it's just the price is what it is. So in the shop profile, the customer and the supplier actually talk throughout the quoting process. They transact on Xometry's platform, but they're able to get access to all of the financial tools that we support them with. And we're talking right now about adding our instant quoting engine technology into the shop profiles so that shops would have the ability to get instant pricing suggestions on a quote, and then they'd be able to toggle it kind of up and down. So I think the misconception is that we're just a job board, but we're constantly adding tools to help. We want to help customers make the parts that they want.
Sure.
But two, empower the manufacturers. And, I think you can think of us like we're your revenue advocate, right? Like we want you to get work and take work off of our platform. So we want to build the tools that will drive revenue and work through your shop.
Yeah. No, I get that. And it's full disclosure. When I first learned of Xometry way back when, because I spent a lot of time in my career, both as, working for manufacturers and as an independent consultant, helping manufacturers of all sizes, get their message out and engage with the clients more directly and successfully and all of those types of things. And while the finance nerd in me can do the math and figure out, wow, you've just taken away, there's a lot of stuff you've taken off the plate of the manufacturer and just give me the work and we'll go from there. But what about building the long-term relationship? Who owns that? And what you've shared today, it sounds like the marketplace kind of becomes that more, that place where you go, it's an e-commerce platform.
Absolutely.
For custom products,
So I think that's important, right? Because on the job board, there is no interaction with the customer, which a lot of times can be a value statement because the manufacturer they're looking to fill 30% of their capacity, right? They don't have time to engage with that customer. They just want to take the work, fill their capacity. But, for shops that are looking to grow, right? There's two different, two maybe like too simplistic, but you've got shops that are really comfortable with their current workload and just want to fill capacity as needed, right? But they're maybe they've been around for 30 years and they're not looking for new customers, right? So the job board works really well for them. Or you're just getting started, right? The job board is something that can help you get your feet under you, get revenue immediately, but then you're missing that piece of the customer engagement. And I think that's where shop profiles come in, because you're actually able to, build those long-term relationships. And I think too, if you look online, what's really interesting is we were talking about this a little bit before the call. The customer journey now starts online. And if you don't have a website or a web presence, right, the customer's like, who is this guy or gal? Like, I can't find him online, right? Well, the shop profile is a canned web presence that all we need is a little bit of information about your shop. And then you get this really professional e-commerce type site where a customer could find you, interact with you, quote with you. So you don't have to go through building your own, WordPress page or something of that nature, right? Or outsource it.
Got it. So give me a sense of scale, or let me back up, maybe a little more broad. First of all, the typical partner company that's on the platform looks like what? I mean, under the bell curve, is it smaller shop, medium size, big shop? I mean, what are we talking?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like you said, there's the bell curve, right? We have some of the biggest manufacturers out there on the job board. We've also got one-man shops running out of the garage. Typically, you're going to see someone that owns a shop that has about 5 to 10 employees. They've got maybe 2,000 square feet, or somewhere between 2 and 10,000 square feet, and a couple machines, right? And that also depends on if you're talking like CNC work, or if you're talking like additive, because additive, you can have a ton of machines at a really small space. But CNC work, you're looking 5 to 10 guys and gals in a building, and that's about average. So, but a lot of them started off as 2 people shops, and built their way up to that, utilizing some of our revenue tools. So it kind of depends, but on average, it's 5 to 10 people.
And a sense of scale. I mean, what's reasonable to expect? I mean, is this a good place to find another 10, 20, 50 grand a year? Is anybody pulling 7 figures a year or more off of through Xometry?
Yeah, absolutely. We've had, I didn't look up the number right before this call, but we have multiple shops who have pulled in $1 million over their lifetime, and that lifetime can be like 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So you could, it all depends on how much work you're taking, what type of work you're looking for, but you could find something as simple as $5,000 extra, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something as big as, we have, $300,000 jobs come through the job board, right? So it kind of depends on your capabilities, but this is a space where you can grow your business to as big as you want it to be if you've got the right capabilities and you're dedicated to engaging with the platform.
Got it. And it was kind of an unfair loaded question because I did.
Yeah, it's okay, man.
I caught one of your interviews that you did, and I think the company was Precise Cuts or something. I forget the guy's name. He was in Michigan. Yeah. Started in his garage with one machine. Now he's in about 8,000 square feet, and I think he was recently acknowledged as having generated $1 million worth of revenue through Xometry. I thought it was an awesome story.
There's another one that I'll plug. We work with Todd White, Todd White Metalworks down in Arizona a ton. Todd got to the point where he's strictly taking ITAR work from us now because he's worked his way up there. And, Todd's taken a couple jobs a month from us where he was taking 25 jobs a month because he's gotten his feet under him. He's got his company up. So there's a lot of different journeys. There's, folks that are 100% Xometry revenue based, and they're always that way. They're the Todds of the world where it moves to more specialty projects where it's a high dollar value and it makes sense. Yeah. And then there's folks that, pop in once every 3 months and take a job from us just to fill capacity. So it ranges all the way in between.
I love the story and I hear this all the time. You talk to, sometimes the accidental entrepreneurs or like in your interview, the guy said, every machine shop in the world has a group of people that stands around talking about how they could do it better than the idiot they're working for. And until they go out and try it on their own and figure out there's all these other costs and everything else associated with it. But the common theme is, listen, I know how to make parts. I know how to look at a drawing. I know how to find the fastest way to get to the tolerances they want to get to and ship them jewelry. The sales and talking to people thing isn't my strong suit. Yeah. Here comes Xometry,
Yeah. And I think that's a powerful way. You've got a ton of, you look at the labor market right now in manufacturing, right? It's tough to find skilled labor to fill the roles that you need in a shop.
Right.
So, you want to keep those guys busy and those gals busy that are in your shop, because if not, they're going to be thinking about it. And really all you need is a machine and the know-how to make the part, because with Xometry, you can take that work and start your own deal once you've got, once you've got the machine, right? Yeah. All you need to do is find the parts to make it. And, I think a lot of the stories that you're talking about in Amp 5 Atom, it starts with people learning from a shop and then being like, I kind of want to run things a little bit differently. Yeah. I'm going to start my own deal. And they've learned a lot of lessons along the way, but a lot of them ended up being really successful at it.
Oh, that's cool. You talk about engaging with the platform. What does that really involve? Because a lot of people are like, well, this sounds good, but am I going to have to, do I have to hire somebody to look at the board? What does that look like?
Yeah. So, I think, it's just got to be part of your normal flow, right? So you get your coffee, you check your email, you open the job board. Because when I talk about engaging with the platform, the ones that are most successful at partnering with Xometry, right, are the ones that are looking at the job board close to every day, sometimes multiple times a day, because there's new jobs on there every day, right? Like I was talking about our lead times being, some would say aggressive when you look on the message threads, but ultimately that's because we're trying to promise good lead times to our customers. So if you got tight lead times, that job's got to come off the job board really quickly. Okay. So when you check in tomorrow, typically the jobs you saw yesterday aren't going to be on here today. So it's the ones that really figure out how to use our filtering capabilities, the reading the match score. Like we know, not only do we learn what the part, should cost and lead time there, but we also, we learn what jobs you take and what types of parts you're looking for. And then we're like, hey, this looks really good for Todd. Todd gets 100% job match score. Yeah. Or this doesn't look that good for Todd. He gets a 17% match score. He can still find that if he wants to learn new capabilities or kind of stretch himself. Yeah. But we try to recommend you the best jobs for you based on what you've taken in the past. So it's just being, kind of constantly logging in. It doesn't have to be every 30 minutes, but get your coffee in the morning, check the job board, check your email, then hit the shop floor.
Is it tough for companies to get signed up? Is it a real rigorous process to get on the job board?
So I would say to get on the job board, yes. Rigorous may be a strong word, but we also want to make sure that the folks that are manufacturing parts on the job board are, they meet Xometry quality standards, because we're promising a certain level of quality to our customers, right? So there's a test part that you have to make. However, we want you to be successful. So this interview is turning into a plug for Todd White at Todd White Metalworks, but
we're going to get him on the show next.
Yeah. Todd and I worked together to, we had Todd film and I can send you the link after this so we can put it in the comments, but we had Todd film from, downloading the test part packet to packaging the test part up, manufacturing that for, every step. So it's a hand-holding process to teach you how to be successful to get on the job board. So we want you to be successful and to get on there, but we also want to make sure that you can produce quality parts. Now, the shop profiles, that's an unmanaged marketplace, right? So while it's on Xometry's platform, the customer and the manufacturer, they're quoting and agreeing to a project together. So literally all you need is, name, email, some shop information, and maybe a logo. Yeah. And then you can have a shop profile up in about 10 minutes. Okay. So that's a very short putt, right? Yeah. Now getting on the job board, while it's not rigorous, we want to make sure that you can produce quality parts and just ensure that. But we also want you to be successful. So like my role as far as community and marketplace engagement, I'm there for these folks every step of the way. We've got knowledge-based articles. We run webinars and events trying to help you to make sure that you're successful on this platform.
Got it. Okay. So say I'm guarantee you there's a manufacturer out there now that's listening in going, man, I've got some capacity. I could make some stuff, but I'm having trouble getting materials or components or fasteners or whatever. Talk to me about, there are a couple of things you brought up. I know there's Xometry Supply, something like that. And talk to me a little bit about some of the financing tools you've got in there as well.
Yeah, so Xometry Supplies is our e-commerce arm of our company, and we started it about 3 years ago. And basically, what we were thinking is, okay, we know the parts that are being made on our platform, right? We know when the manufacturer needs it, what material, what tools they're going to use, because we know the machines. We should also offer the tools and materials they need to make that part. Yeah. So you can buy, aluminum 6061, stainless steel 316, like find any material that you need on Xometry Supplies. You can also buy all the tools you need there, really aggressive lead times and pricing, because, we want to make sure that you're able to, now obviously you can buy this for any job, but if you're taking it for a Xometry job, we want to make sure that the material gets to you, often next day, and you're able to manufacture that part within the lead times agreed to. Now, the financial products that you referenced, really excited about those. Those actually were born out of our response to COVID-19. So COVID-19 hit, and everyone huddled up and was like, holy crap, what is this going to look like? You know what I mean? If you flash back to February, March last year, everyone was like, we don't know what this is going to look like, right? So our first motion was we were considered an essential business. And so we wanted to make sure that everyone that works on our platform was considered an essential business. So we helped them get, certified as that and go through that process. But then we were like, okay, how else can we help, right? We talked to a lot of the users on our platform, and they said, cash flow is a big issue for smaller manufacturing shops. Oftentimes, they've got about 21 days worth of cash flow on hand. And, if they're not getting new influx of cash, they're starting to get into a problem. Yeah. So what we looked at is, what is typically the amount for the materials and tools you need to output when you take a job in order to do that job? It's typically around 30% of the job value. All right. So what we launched is the advanced card. We have the Xometry advanced card. It works similarly to like a Starbucks card, right? It's not a credit card that you need to sign up for and like credit check or anything like that. It's all tied to your activity on the platform. And when you take a job, we instantly advance you 30% of that job value onto that card. So now you're able to go out and buy the materials and tools that you need in order to do that job without outlaying any cash that you have in a reserve, right? So it's against the value of that job. Makes sense because you're buying the materials and tools for that job. Right. But in the past, if you've got net 60 terms with your customer, net 30 terms, you've got to buy that 30%, and then you might not see that payment for, let's say it takes you, 14 days to make the part. You're not seeing that payment for 44 days. Yeah. So you've outsourced 30% or output 30% of that job value, and you're not seeing that realized for a while. So we put 30% on your card. And then we also launch features like fast pay. So if you think about Venmo instant transfer, right? It's instantly in your bank account. You can fast pay what Xometry owes you for a job because we pay on net 30. Okay. So you can fast pay that amount it depends on how far out it is from your payment date, but 2 to 5%. Okay. And we've also launched recently. So we got into the finances and realized it was a big hit. So we launched recently the ability for manufacturers to extend their customers' terms. So net 30 terms that's guaranteed by Xometry. So a lot of manufacturers that we talked to were said, yeah, I give my customer net 30 terms. And we said, okay, do you get paid on net 30? And they were like, well, maybe 35 or 40. Yeah. I got to pick up the phone and call. Right. Right. So what happens now is you extend your customer terms. Yeah. Xometry guarantees the payment on 30 days for any job, not just Xometry jobs. Got it. And then we will go and actually collect that payment, but you get paid in 30 days. Got it. So I talked about being the revenue, advocate. It's really, we're putting our money where our mouth is in the sense of the products that we put out, because we want to be your revenue and earning advocate. So we want to bring you the work. We want to give you the cash flow solutions that you need in order to take more work, right? And so you're not constrained. Yeah. And also we want to make sure that you're paid on time. And so really just trying to ease a lot of the burdens that you were talking about, the quoting burden, after the job is shipped, trying to collect that accounts receivables burden. So yeah.
That's good. It's a real comprehensive view of the whole journey, from when the opportunity shows up and all the way through the shop. So that's awesome stuff. Adam, we discussed this before, and I warned you. There's a very real possibility we could end up talking for hours and hours about this topic, but unfortunately, we're about out of time today.
Yeah, man.
So this was awesome. I really do appreciate your time today and sharing the insights about Xometry. Our goal with MFG Out Loud is to help manufacturing leaders listen in on courageous conversations that can help them grow their business. So I thought, what better way than to have a good conversation today about revenue streams. So before we go, I'm going to remind you, hook me up, introduce me to Todd White. This sounds like a guy I got to know and everybody else needs to know about too.
Todd is the man. I will absolutely do that. And the one thing I will plug, we talked about a lot of products today. Sure. My whole thing is to be on the side of the manufacturer. So, find me on LinkedIn. I'll also plug my email. If you have any questions about the products we talked about today, please reach out to me, because I love as you can tell, I love talking about them. So would be happy to engage with anybody on a one-on-one setting.
And that's awesome. And I will in our show notes when this episode airs. You're going to find it in the show notes. You're going to know how to get to Xometry. You're going to know how to get to Adam and all the cool things that are going on out there. And please track them down on LinkedIn, follow them, see what Xometry's up to, and stay on top of it. So
awesome. Thanks,
Adam, again, thank you for joining us. Everybody out there, if you liked what you heard today, please continue to subscribe and follow us on Apple Play, everywhere else that happens to be out there. We're everywhere. If we really did a good job, please leave a comment, even just a brief, hey, add a boy. Allison's not here. It would be an add a girl too. To get in there, we'd appreciate it. Tell your friends about it and keep manufacturing out loud because we need you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for listening to MFG Out Loud with Ray Zaganto and Allison DeFore. You can subscribe and find show notes at mfgoutloud.com.